Hafnarferdor are in the blue colours, with Orebro wearing the black and white, their first choice colours. Hafnarfjordur were the champions of Iceland a couple of seasons back. This is the Örebro team. They have 3 new signings in their ranks here: the defender Erik Moberg, the winger Daniel Gustafsson, and the striker from Sierra Leone Al Hassan Kamara. For Hafnarfjordur, this is their lineup: 2 English players, left-back Sam Tillen, once of Chelsea, and Sam Hewson, a former youth captain at no less than Manchester United. Referee is Nuno Almeida. All the officials are drawn from the local federation, the Algarve Football Federation. Örebro captain here by the veteran Magnus Wikström, 36 now, player who was in their relegation team a couple of campaigns back. Gudjon Antoniusson is the skipper for this game for Hafnarfjordur. You may recall had a game with Aston Villa in the old UEFA Cup some 6 years back and got a draw at Villa Park. A couple of survivors from that team, the goalkeeper Oskarsson, and on the bench for them their striker Christian Emilsson. Had a glimpse there of the coach Jaime Gudjonsson, in charge now. Most recently against Burkina Faso back in August of last year. Here is Erik Moberg, who's just joined them at Widerbergs. Promotion winner with them a couple of years back in Sweden. He's played in the top division the last 2 seasons. That's a free kick by Sean Reynolds, the American, in the back line for the Icelanders. He's only ever played in the 3rd division in the USA, never played in the MLS. Ball through there towards Albert Ingersson.
Yeah, Ingersson trying to make runs in behind. Seen a couple of balls try to be played over the top for his runs. Game being played at a decent tempo, both sides trying to shut the ball down.
Here's Van Heerden. Long ball forward now towards the chasing figure of Gustafsson. Here is Gustafsson. Now Olafur Snorrason, who Bolton fans may recall for his 3-year spell at the Reebok Stadium somewhat 12 years ago under Sam Allardyce. Didn't play a first-team game, they're just a couple of friendlies, but was on the books under Big Sam at Bolton for, what, 3 seasons?
There you see the other midfield player playing for Orebro, Saeed, playing alongside, and Keeley.
That's David Vidarsson. And he's just taken a spill here. Three here is Ayanda and Keeley. Reynolds. Piece of loose control here is given Örebro. Rather cheap throw mistake there by the skipper Antoniusson. Now Van Heerden for Örebro. I think there is Mohamed Saeed, a former junior with West Bromwich Albion for 7 years in the Black Country. Moberg long towards Gustafsson, who was on loan with Örebro last season from AIK, as was Kamara, the number 10. Both have signed full-time deals now to move to the newly promoted team.
Once again, back players trying to go from back to front fairly quickly. Players making runs in behind the opposition.
That's Peter Vidarsson, and helped on by Gudnason. This now is Sam Tillen, the former Chelsea and Brentford player. Didn't play a first-team game for Chelsea, but played the best part of 70 games in the English lower divisions for Brentford in West London. And Keeley. This is Yassin. Yassin, who's an Iraqi international. Now Van Heerden, the player from South Africa. A couple of Bafana caps under Gordon Igusund. Wikström. Played away here by Reynolds for Hafnarferdor. Yassin makes the run here. This is Ahmed Yassin, player they call the Iraqi Ronaldo. 15 caps for the Iraqi national team under Carlos Queiroz. Here is Yassin. And the ball in is the first test here for the goalkeeper Robert Oskarsson.
Yeah, good little run to start with from Yassin, going in behind the fullback. Unfortunately fell over, just delayed his cross that came in.
Iceland's league is pretty low-key. The average gate there is only 1,000 or so people. But certainly Hafnarfjordur in recent years have become a real force. Only reached the top division 35 years ago, and all their titles have come in the last 10 years, 6 of them. 20 major trophies in the last 12 years for them. Very much a recent force. Lost out to KR by 3 points in the title race in the last campaign. Looking to make amends in what's to come. Infield here from Snorrason, but given away, and play waved on here. Yassin out wide. There's a knock here too for Holmberg, but play will go on for Orebro. Björnqvist, and play will be called back here.
Referee just saying it's a friendly game. You probably heard him just say that. It's a strong tackle coming in from Vidarsson.
Well, the game's first corner here has gone the way of the Swedes, Orebro, who've never won the Allsvenskan, a couple of runners-up positions in the 90s.
And it's going to be an in-swinger. Left back going across. Van Heerden. They swing this in, and look at how they're everybody in the 6-yard box. They're going to try and make it really difficult for the goalkeeper. He's got a good left foot on him.
In here by Van Heerden. It is the in-swinger, and the goalkeeper hasn't got there at all, has he, Oskarsson? He sees a push and a shove, though.
Yeah, I think the referee's given a free kick. Not sure he's right, though. There's a lot of pushing and shoving going on, but really the goalkeeper's got to do better. It's a poor attempt from him. But that's exactly what they're looking to do. Orebro whip that ball into the 6-yard box, get players in and around it, make it difficult for the defensive side, Hafnarfjordur, to get the ball away.
Yeah, sorry, Stuart, just going to say there was a change on the team sheet. We have actually Shpetim Hassani 16 out there too, up top for the Swedes of Orebro. Wasn't on the original published list, and the one you saw on the graphic pre-match. Oskarsson. Now the American Sean Reynolds, native of Fort Walton Beach in Florida. Nice part of the world, as is the Algarve where this game is today. It's the 4th running of the Atlantic Cup. Throw taken here by Sam Tillen. Now it's Sam Hewson. Antoniusson. By Snorrason. Here's Antoniusson again for Hafnarfjordur. Saeed. There is Hassani. To Ahmed Yassin. Overlapping, he's got Björnqvist. Now here is Daniel Björnqvist. He was the second choice right back last season. Only 6 league starts in their 2nd division runners-up campaign.
Does like to get forward. Good attacking run from him. He's going to link up with Yassin down that right-hand side.
It's Van Heerden doing his defensive job, but it might just break Snorrason's way. First touch here for Oscar Janssen in goal for Orebro, who English viewers may recall from his days.
There was another ball just played over the top. It's a good run from Hassani. He does well. He can't really get the power behind it. Again, I see it so often. Goalkeepers making the wrong decision, when to stay and when to come. Put himself in a horrible mess. Oskarsson.
Now on Keeley for Orebro towards Hassani. He was their top scorer last season, 12 goals in the 2nd division in Sweden. Moberg. This is Magnus Wikström, the skipper, 36. Moberg, who'll be his new partner defensively, it seems, for the new Allsvenskan campaign. Hassani. Now it's Daniel Gustafsson. Gustafsson's ball in is knocked away for another corner here for the Swedes.
It's a good little step over, just can't get away from the captain, Tonjansson.
Well, 10 gone. I'd say so far the balance of play is most clearly with Orebro of Sweden.
Once again, they're going to swing this one in. No room for the goalkeeper to come and get it. It's got to be a quick delivery.
Here goes the flick on this time, and the goalkeeper's got a hand on that, Oskarsson. It'll be the corner here, the third so far for Orebro.
There's the first flick on, there's the second one. He does just about enough, the goalkeeper. Oskarsson. It's very difficult for him, and good tactics here from the set play.
The 6-yard box is absolutely rammed. You see all the bodies in there here to make the goalkeeper's job that much tougher. It's Van Herden's in-swinger again. It's come a long way this time. Just runs away in behind.
Reynolds wasn't even looking at the ball as Holmberg went in. See the fullback not looking at the ball as it comes towards him.
Five there is Peter Vidosson. One of two players with that surname, unrelated in the Hafnarferdor team. Now Sean Reynolds. As I say, a player in the US third tier with Tampa Bay FC last season. David Vidosson. Now it's Ólafur Snorrason, the ex-Bolton Wanderer. Overlapping here, he's got support too from Antoniusson. Here, though, is Snorrason with the shots. And Keely can't get that. It's come out now to David Vidosson. And then the ball in from Tillen. It's a handball, surely, against Daniel Gustafsson.
Yeah, definitely handball. But they've tried to hit that big diagonal. Hafnarfjordur out to this right-hand side. Snorrason. It's an out ball for them. He's a tricky player out on the right-hand side. On that occasion, he came infield onto his left foot. Wasn't a particularly good shot from him.
Yes, he was capped once 4 years ago for Iceland, was Ólafur Snorrason. Many current internationals in this team for Hafnarfjordur, despite having won the league a couple of years ago. Free kick here, which again Sam Tillen is on. 2, 3, 4, 5 in the box to find here. Among them is number 5, Peter Vidosson. In by Tillen. Not really clear too far yet. No, it is by Andon Keely, the South African. Antoniusson. Snorrason forward, looking for Ingersson. And Keely to Orebro now. They try and clear through Björnqvist. Chasing on now is Hassani.
Yeah, well played, Vidosson. Read the ball was going to be played over the top, just dropped back. Good reading of the situation from the left-sided centre-half.
Hafnarfjordur's league campaign doesn't begin until May, but they do have the League Cup, which takes up the next 2 months. Coming off the back two of indoor pre-season events last month, which they reached the final of and lost to Shainan. Snorrason. Now Hewson, who rather dwelled on the ball and was lucky to get away with that. Reynolds for Hafnarfjordur.
He's playing as the centre-half, Reynolds. Antoniusson is going to play at right-back. Swap that we weren't expecting. Thought it was going to be the other way round.
A glimpse there of Per Ulla Jung, the coach of Orebro. It's his first senior coaching job. He was the assistant at Helsingborgs under a couple of coaches. Orebro have had some famous names down the past. Their coach, 3 decades ago, was a certain Roy Hodgson. Tord Grip had a couple of spells too. Sven-Göran Eriksson's long-term number 2 across the world.
Sliding tackle.
In by Van Heerden, away by Reynolds, picked up by Unkili here now for Orebro. 4 is Wikström. Björnqvist. Yasin. Away here will come Gunnarsson, but not for long. Forced back. Away by David Widossen. Pressure coming here now from the Swedes. Van Heerden. Gustafsson. Breaks here for Hassani. The snapshot is over the top.
Yeah, good closing down. And Keeley won the challenge in midfield. Broke then for Hassani. I think he's right to take it early. Just gets underneath it. But he's certainly playing down the middle. Hassani's made 1 or 2 good runs. Holmberg will play one side of him. Gustafsson will play the other.
Money in fairly short supply in Iceland in football terms. They are a mainly part-time league, and the club raised their funds to come here by holding a charity ball a couple of weeks ago. The star turn was, I'm told, Iceland's answer to Rod Stewart. Is that your cup of tea?
Well, the English or the Scottish version of Rod Stewart's not my cup of tea, so I'm not sure the other one would be.
Here's Ingerson, played away by Orebro. They were the second best back team in the second division last year. Crowds of almost 5,000 the average. Chance to cross here now. In by Tillen. A little too long for Snorrason. Snorrason again for Hafnarferdor. Hewson, former youth captain at Manchester United up until 2007. Did make the first team bench there once for a game with Roma in the Champions League, but wasn't used by Sir Alex Ferguson. Played first team football on loan at clubs like Hereford and Bury. It's Hassani on for Orebro, and cleared now by David Widossen. Hewson. Hewson again. Very rare for English players to move abroad, isn't it, Stuart, for whatever reason?
Yeah, I think 1 or 2 players, when their careers aren't hitting the heights that they hope they would, end up playing in Sweden and Iceland, Finland. They love the game, still want to earn a living out of it. They can't quite make it in England.
That's David Widossen for Hafnarfjordur, and the chase on here now for Atle Gudnason. Away by Oscar Jansson in goal for Orebro. Didn't miss a single league game last season, the goalkeeper, his first campaign with the club. Now here goes Ahmed Yasin up to involve Carla Holmberg. Björnqvist, tug back, free kick for Orebro.
Björnqvist showing good pace. Good little run from the right back. Carlson, the player, bringing him down.
This is Erik Moberg. Eight here is Mohamed Said. 7 years on West Brom's books. Had a trial too with Fulham when he was 11 years old, but didn't join them. Moberg. Van Heerden, who's had a lively debut on trial from Amazulu in South Africa. Said in now to Holmberg. Breaks here now for Yasin, who takes on the shot and scores brilliantly. Ahmed Yasin with a firecracker, and 1-0 the score to Orebro.
Well, what a good strike it was. You talked about him being the
Iraqi
Ronaldo. Well, he showed it there with a brilliant shot. As soon as he picked up the ball, he's been playing out on the right-hand side. He comes in field, finds that bit of space. It's his first touch, gets it out of his feet, and then brilliant technique. Hits right through the back of the ball. Standing foot is off the ground, and he's driving right through it, and that's what gets the power, and a good finish. And they've been the better team so far.
So the goal from Ahmed Yasin, and 1-0 for Per Ulla Young's team, Orebro. Player who was born in Baghdad but moved to Sweden with his family as a 3-year-old and was in Swedish youth squads, but has chosen to play for his parents' country, Iraq, at full level. 15 caps and 1 goal. And 1 goal here too, a cracker too, in this match at the Atlantic Cup. Björnqvist. But as you say, Stuart, all the players come from the Swedes so far, on top by a fairly good margin.
Well, they seem to have a good game plan. We were talking about game plans beforehand. Yes, they will play out from the back, but they're mixing it up between playing into midfield, going long when it's been on to play long. The wide player, Yasin, has come in field at times to let the fullback go down the outside of him, Björnqvist. They're closing the ball down in midfield well.
Now Tillen. How will the Icelanders respond? Here's Gudnason, cleared by Vikström.
A disappointing cross, because a couple of times down that left-hand side they've had a bit of time and space on the ball. Gudnason to get his crossing.
Nearing the halfway point in the first half. Orebro's first league game back in the top division is away at Halmstad in March. As I say, a team who've been a yo-yo team down the recent years, really, between the top 2 divisions, the Allsvenskan and the second tier, the Superettan. Here's Snorrason. Snorrason twists and turns. Can he get a crossing? Not yet. It's come back to Antoniusson. Saeed only half away. Picked up now by Peter Vidarsson. Then he's manhandled by Hassani. Free kick for Hafnarfjordor.
Poor cross, wasn't it, from Antoniusson. He's done a lot of work, the centre forward. Hassani coming back there, commits the foul.
Yes, a late change we did have on the team sheet. Al-Hassan Kamara, the new signing, the Sierra Leone striker, but clearly maybe a knock pre-match, and that's why Hassani starts.
Well, he calls himself
Crespo, isn't he, Al-Hassan Kamara? Free kick here for Hafnarfjordor. And the header across goal is in the end hooked away by Van Heerden for Orebro.
Well, I think it was a defensive header that took it back across goal. That's why he stopped it going for a corner.
Gudjon Antoniusson with a throw in here for Hafnarfjordor. Back to the American Reynolds. In turn now for Robert Oskarsson. 26 in that team which drew at Villa Park in the UEFA Cup 6 years ago. Having lost the first leg 4-1, so it didn't really matter. Gudnason. Cleared here now by Moberg for Orebro. Gustafsson. In goes Said. It's going to, though, break here. In the end, a free kick given, actually.
Vidarsson, central midfield player, giving the foul away. Won the ball, but studs were showing up against Said.
It's the first of 2 games in the stadium today. Later on Eurosport we'll have coverage of the game between the Czechs Slovan Liberec and Midtjylland of Denmark. On here by Ingersson. It's going to break here Gustafsson's way. Now the whistle's already gone for an earlier free kick for Hafnarfjordor. Sam Tillen for David Vidarsson here, player who's in his 3rd spell now with Hafnarfjordor. Ingersson chasing. And away by goalkeeper Oscar Jansson. Hassani looks for the chasing Holmberg here.
He's got good movement. Sees a pass.
His very formative years in the youth academy at Hafnarfjordor. This is Emil Palsson. He's just switched flanks for now with Snorrason. Hewson chasing here. Sam Hewson won the Cup in Iceland last season with Fram Reykjavik. Moved in the transfer window from then to join Hafnarfjordor, to join his former Fram teammate Sam Tillen. Referee wants a word here. Sure, we'll say again, it's only a friendly, lads. Nothing too silly. Don't give me too much work to do.
Well, it may be a friendly, but it's been very competitive so far. It's been a decent opening 26 minutes. Both teams playing at a good tempo.
And a good goal too from Ahmed Yassin, a fine strike from the Iraqi. It's 1-0 for the Swedes. Winners get 3 points, losers none if it's a draw. To remind you, it would be a point apiece, then we'd have a shootout, and the winners on penalties would take an extra point. So Moberg, Van Heerden, Gustafsson. Now Reynolds. Handball there seen against Saeed. Free kick for Hafnarfjordur.
Doesn't agree with the decision. Saeed. And a lot of players around the ball. Hafnarfjordur were just trying to poke it into midfield. It hits him on the hand. I don't think he actually moves his hand towards it. Very difficult.
Now it's Sean Reynolds again for Hafnarfjordur. Up to Snorrason now. Here's Sam Hewson. David Vidersen. Peter Vidersen. Sam Tillen.
There's that big diagonal again, but it's well read by the fullback. He's done well so far.
Yeah, good trial game so far for Van Heerden, but now possession will break again for Snorrason for Hafnarfjordur. Away by Wikström. A little Saeed on the ball for Orebro.
What a good pass that is, over the top.
Finds Hassani. Yeah. Hassani goes on, he's gone down 2, referee says penalty. Foul here by David Vidersen on Hassani. A chance here for a 2-goal cushion for the Swedes.
What a good pass over the top. We talked about the runners in behind. Hassani did it again brilliantly. Then he just squares up the defender. He goes with his wrong foot, does Vidersen. And the referee has no choice but to give a penalty. Change of pace, slight change of direction. But it was the initial run that made it for Hassani. And then he got himself 1v1 in the penalty box.
And he himself will take the penalty. He was their 12-goal top scorer in the Swedish Superettan, the second division last season. And he steps up. And with a very calm kick, makes it 2-0 for Orebro.
Yeah, good penalty. He's looking at the goalkeeper all the time. He waits for him to make his move and then just passes it into the other corner. It was good centre-forward play all round. Threatening the back of the defender, squaring him up, 1v1, change of pace, change of direction, gets himself into the box. And then he finishes the penalty himself. Little hesitation, sees the goalkeeper move, then passes it into the other corner.
Well, a good half's work so far by the Swedes. 2 up from the spot from last season's top scorer, Shpetim Hassani. Player born in Kosovo, 9 years in Sweden after an early spell in his career in Turkey. Now here's Robert Oskarsson, beaten twice so far, the goalkeeper for Hafnarfjordur. Reynolds, now Peter Vidersen.
That's what he's doing, Peter Vidersen, just going in between the centre halves at times to start the play, allows the fullbacks to get higher up the field for Hafnarfjordur.
And by Tillen here now for Paulsen. Emil Paulsen now involves Anton Jussen, Snorrason. Hewson. Got the League Cup to come, but as I say, the league doesn't begin in Iceland now until early May. Now here's David Vidersen. It's going to be picked up now by Peter Vidersen, who's been pressured well there by Ayander and Keeley. Half an hour gone. Orebro 2 up on Hafnarfjordur. Reynolds in a muddle here, and he's been dispossessed by Hassani. Could be expensive too here for the Icelanders. It's going to be a free kick.
Poor play from Reynolds. Can't see a pass, tries to turn out, steps on the ball, allows Hassani to get away from him. And then he commits the foul. So 2 or 3 errors from the centre half there.
Of course, both teams at different spells, different stages of their pre-season preparations. The Swedes' first league game is much nearer than Hafnarfjordor's. On this free kick here is Daniel Gustafsson, in towards the far post area here, where it's claimed by Robert Oskarsson. Well, can Hafnarfjordor find themselves a foothold, a base camp to build from in this match? 2 behind in the game's first third. I'm sure we'll see as the game goes on a whole raft of changes. There are 3 windows to make those changes in. Teams can make up to 11. I'm sure both coaches will use the game to give their entire squads some degree of pitch time. That's Hewson. Tillen.
It's something that I'm not always in agreement with pre-season friendlies, pre-season tournaments. Coaches often change the players, only give them half a game, so come the start of the season, when it does get competitive, a lot of the players haven't played 90 minutes.
That's a good point. It's the team's first of 3 games here in Portugal. Of
course, you don't want players getting injured and fatigued too quickly, but you certainly want them to build their fitness up. I was a great believer in almost having 2 teams. You've got a squad of, as they have here, 26 players, playing one team for almost 90 minutes one day and then the other team the next day.
Now Tillen. And Tillen's ball clipped in here looking for the arriving Paulsen. And Keely's kicked thin air. And then his studs were high, or rather studs were high from the defender Peter Viddersen there for Hafnarfjordor. Hafnarfjordor had their best ever European season in the current European campaign. They got through 6 matches. They reached the playoffs for the Europa League, having reached the 3rd qualifying round of the Champions League. Beaten in the Champions League playoff, rather the Europa League playoff, by Genk of Belgium. And the flag will come up here to stop Hassani in his tracks. Offside here.
Yeah, he pulled away nicely to that far side. Good set-up play. Just made his run a fraction too early. Good spot from Saeed. But they got better movement. Have Swedish side. Orebro.
Olafur Snorarsson. And the ball here swinging in, but easy pickings in the end for Oscar Janssen. 23 now, the goalkeeper. 5 years he was on Tottenham's books for. Now playing for his hometown team. He made, as I say, his debut for a Swedish national team in the recent King's Cup in Thailand, an annual tournament where the Scandinavian nations take home-based players overseas. Here's Gustafsson. Saeed. Didn't quite run there for Yassin. Saeed. Gustafsson. Hassani. What's Van Heerden's crossing like? Got away this time by Antoniusson. So 10 to half-time. Orebro lead by 2-0 here in the first game on day 2 of the Atlantic Cup here on Eurosport.
Moberg is the centre-half that's played some decent balls forward. Number 20 at the back for Orebro.
Gustafsson on Keely. Side there with the expansive ball across the field to try and find Björnqvist. He has done, but he's cut off there by Sam Tillen. Yassin's heavy touch this time.
What a good goal it was from that man, though. Real power in the shot. Found that little bit of space in midfield. His first touch just took him into a bit more space to get the shot away.
He scored 6 goals in the second division. He only missed 1 game in the league last season for Orebro. Still a young man too, only, 22. So I guess here's a shop window too for one or two clubs in, let's say, bigger European leagues who may be looking for a bargain buy for the summer. Certainly, Yassine, a full international with Iraq, is a player who would be attractive to would-be suitors. Clearance by Janssen here towards Hassani, holding off the challenge. And play waved on here, and Keely. Yassine. Björnqvist. Not quite found there for Orebro. This now is David Widersen.
Yeah, that was disappointing. The poor pass, but Keely could have closed the ball down. He then went back to his midfield position when he could have pressure on the ball and won it back for his team quickly. It's a good combination between these two players in midfield as he gives the ball away again, and Keely.
Here's Gudnason. Ahead he's got Ingerson, who found him. Here is Ingerson. Held off though by the strong and Keely, and now Yassine is invited to push on now for Orebro. In front by 2-0, and good value for that lead as well in the first 37 minutes. Björnqvist. For here is Magnus Wikström. Now Erik Moberg. Van Heerden. Van Heerden had a previous trial spell in Greece 4 years ago, but he said he felt then he was too young, inexperienced, and now has the right mindset to think about moving abroad. Offside flag here up against Kalle Holmberg, who's a current Swedish under-21 international.
Yeah, they switched it across the back. Once again, the left back tries to play the ball over the top. It's a tight decision. I'm not sure he was offside. Thought the centre-half on the far side may have just been level with him. But their movement's been good. The front players for... I haven't seen too much of Holmberg, but he's come short at times. He's spun in the space in behind defenders. Hassani's been excellent.
There's Yassine. Björnqvist for Yassine again. Tillen got there first. Hafnarferdor have had 11 successive years now in European competition, compared to 5 in their history for Orebro. In by Tillen. What can Gudnason do here? Can he get the cross in? Not quite. It's going to be cleared away by Keely. Now Said can break away for Orebro with pace, power and some penetration. Maybe he's got a head here. Gustafsson. Reynolds comes across. And Reynolds to no one in a blue shirt.
Well, they've been in complete control, haven't they, here? Orebro. I'm not just talking about the scoreline, it's been the way the two teams have played. They seem to have a much better understanding of what they're trying to do, Orebro. There's that ball into the front again. It was a good one as well, nicely weighted. Fullback getting forward.
And here is Van Heerden, found by Holmberg's pass. Now Said will take up the charge. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the middle to find here too for Orebro. Mohamed Said. Gustafsson. Van Heerden there with a deep cross. It's going to come Said's way here, edge of the box. Still 3 ahead. He's gone wide now to Björnqvist, the overlapping fullback. Now it's come to Yassine. Just knocked away though by Gudnason, but again the pressure comes from the Swedes. Said.
Att rädda världen kräver...
By Wikström here, and there's a let-off there for Orebro.
Much better. Hafnarferdor. Good save from the goalkeeper. I think might just take a deflection. Maybe not. Pelson breaking into the box.
Pelson scored their goal in their last game, that indoor cup final against Cheyenne. last week. Saeed. Sani's ball back to his captain here, Magnus Wikström.
I presume the indoor tournament was a mini-sided game.
No, it's a full-size pitch. Full-size, yep. The bad weather at this time of year means they move indoors to the Laugårdsvalor in Reykjavik, the indoor hall there. Here's Yasin. 3G AstroTurf indoors. Good facility. This is this stadium too. You may recall from the Euros 10 years ago. This is where the quarter-final between the Swedes and Dutch was held, and the Dutch beat Sweden that night on penalties here in Faro.
Big gamble there from the centre-half, Vidarsson, to dive in. The ball being knocked past him by Yasin, he'd have been in trouble.
Paulsen. Now is Peter Vidarsson for Hafnarfjordur. From David Vidarsson through the goalkeeper's legs. It's a way back in. That base camp has been reached by Hafnarfjordur. They trail now by just 2-1.
Well, they weren't man marking, but as is so often the case, people talk about zonal marking not being right, but man marking, once the ball is kicked, you've got to be looking at the ball, and he just runs, he's not marked at all, he gets away from his man, and a good header low through the goalkeeper's leg, and he makes up for his error up the end where he brought down the on-rushing Asani for the penalty. You said it, they were just getting back into the game, starting to play with a bit more composure, a bit more adventure.
Here is David Vidarsson again, lets that run to his goalkeeper Oscars, and it's been a decent first half to watch, Stuart. It's been okay.
It certainly has. It's been competitive. You see so often in pre-season tournaments or friendlies that the tempo will be slow. Players are happy just to keep the ball rather than trying to play balls over the top or make their centre-forwards run after it. You often see the opposition not closing down. They'll just back off and back off. Hasn't been the case here. It's been a good first half.
2-1, the Swedes lead. This is Peter Vidarsson. Now Sam Tillen. Ahead they've got 1, 2, 3 in blue here. It's come to Sam Hewson. Antoniussen. Well, the whistle ends a pretty good first half here in Faro. It's 2-1 for the Swedes of Orebro. They took a lead through a fine goal from Ahmed Yasin, the Iraq international, then a penalty put away by Shpeti Masani, but the goal back from David Vidarsson here has given the Icelanders of Hafnarfjordur some real hope. Conceded in the second tier last season. The change here coming off is Kalle Holmberg, and on in his place comes Kamara. Al-Hassan Kamara, or Crespo as he's nicknamed, the Sierra Leone international. Goals in their World Cup qualifiers for Brazil.
He's only 45 minutes late. He was down on the team sheet to start the game.
Yeah. So all set for the second half then. It is Orebro who begin. They are 2-1 up from the first half. Good display too in the first half from the Swedes, looking to begin their first campaign back in the Allsvenskan, the top tier, in March when they go away to Halmstad. It's all about getting geared up for that. Wikström here now for Moberg. We'll see, as we said in the first half, I'm sure a whole raft of second half changes. There are 3 windows allowed to make those up to 11 changes for the two teams in this second half.
Well, the surprising thing is we haven't seen more substitutions at half-time.
Yeah, we do know that Al-Hassan Kamara is on in the attack here for Orebro, the player they signed on loan last season. Now he's moved full-time from AIK in Stockholm. It's Paulsen. It wouldn't quite run there for Gudnason. There's Paulsen again, had a good chance in that first half just before they got their goal back. Hassani On the charge, he looks to find Ahmed Yassin. He has done. Yassin towards Kamara, came off the defender last. Corner ball here, the second half's first. It goes Orebro's way.
Yeah, Hassani showing his pace again, running with, breaking in behind the midfield of Hafnarferdor. In the end, Yassin couldn't quite find the cross he was looking for. He was looking to bend that in behind the defender for the run of Kamara.
So can they reclaim a two-goal cushion here, Orebro?
There's that tactic again that they used in the first half. All the players in that 6-yard box. Again,
Van Heerden takes. Goalkeeper's come a long way. Oscarson hasn't really got too much on it. Took a knock as well, but play goes on here. It's up towards Gudnason. Atli Gudnason. 5 goals in the league last season. Was the league's top scorer 2 seasons back when they won the title. Yassin. 5 here is Peter Vidusson.
Great defending from Saeed.
Flag up for offside here.
Well, that looked a tight one. We saw one poor decision in the first half against the same man, Ingerson. I'd like to have another look at that.
Albert Ingerson caught offside, a player with 3 in 9 last season. Not really a starter. 3 years now with the club since he joined from Fylkir, the top division team in Iceland. This is Daniel Björnqvist and Kili. Looks for Yassin. Corner saved here by David Vidusson.
He's not blessed with great pace. Vidusson got to the ball first, but Yassin had a few yards to make up. He made it difficult for him. That time they take the set play quickly.
Oscarson, the goalkeeper, been the first choice now for around 6 or so years, uncapped by the national team. Actually sent off twice last season. Ingerson, Gudnason. Now it's Ingerson again.
Well played again from the player. Saeed read that.
Kamara just a hint of handball, but play goes on here. Accelerates too here. El Hassan Kamara.
We talked about one defensive midfield player. The other one did a good job there. Number 5, Vidusson, getting back behind his centre half. Sees his centre half beat, gets back in, just about does enough.
3 goals and 8 caps for Sierra Leone. By Peter Vidusson here for Hafnarfjordur. Now Reynolds, the American. Houston's pass was loose. Saeed again there, the all-action midfield player there for Orebro. He's there again. And Kili. Out comes Janssen. Safety first from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, completely hooks it.
Here's Sam Hewson. Got the cross in 2 towards Ingerson. Gustafsson away, and then the clearance completed by Mohamed Saeed. Camera wouldn't quite sit down from there. He's been dispossessed by Sean Reynolds now. Reynolds forward into Hewson. Snorrison offside again, the flag up against Reynolds this time. He was rather off limits there, the centre half, up as almost a right winger.
Yeah, right decision on this occasion. All the players from Orebro had stepped up, tried to close the ball down, and the reverse pass was almost a good one. But the centre half had just made his run a little bit too early, Reynolds.
Erik Moberg, new signing for the coming season. Now Gustafsson, who's turned his loan into a full-time move from AIK in Stockholm, or rather Solna, the suburb of Stockholm, which that club comes from. Moberg's free kick. Loose in the way was Tillen. Here is Sam Tillen again. Tillen played almost 70 games in the Football League for Brentford, 68 in total. Didn't score for the Bees. Left them, 6 or 7 years ago, and he's been in Iceland ever since, with Fram first and now for 2 seasons. Next best thing.
He just lacks a bit of pace, doesn't he? Snorrason. His first touch was good. Tried to get away from the defender. Lundqvist.
Hafnarfjordor's first second-half corner, just their second of the entire game. Goodness stands on the goalkeeper's toes.
The last one they scored from. Is it going to be a similar set play?
In by Snorrason here. The in-swinger is just touched over by Janssen.
You can see which way the wind's blowing. Very much in the favour of the team in blue. Takes no chances. The goalkeeper, Janssen.
Tillen on this corner then, the Englishman for Hafnarfjordur. Can they use that wind now to their advantage on this latest dead ball delivery? Sam Tillen's corner again, the in-swinger. This one just drifts away harmlessly, but it's took a touch, I think, off a defender again, maybe off Daniel Björnqvist.
There's a deep one, again swinging in. Björnqvist at the far post, had to deal with it. Bit of pressure now on the Orebro back line.
Yes, 6 blue shirts in the mix here for Hafnarfjordur. Can they level up the match, having trailed by 2-0? It's a shorter corner this time. In by Snorrason. Here's Tillen. Space for Snorrason. He was onside too, Snorrason. And he went for goal. It almost runs Reynolds' way. That was a chance.
And the flag didn't go up. Snorrason with a poor shot in the end. Reynolds coming in.
Much better half so far for the Icelanders.
And they're playing on the front foot now.
Björnqvist. Now Yasin. Kamara. Handball, I think, seen there by the referee.
Well, he looks a powerful player, doesn't he? I'm not sure his touch is particularly good from what we've seen so far. No real chance of getting that under control.
Scored 6 in 12 on loan with the club last season from AIK. He's turned that loan now into a full-time move, and the hopes are he can be as good a goal scorer at the top level as he was at the second tier, that level last season. Snorrason. And here now is Ingersson. And Snorrason again. Oh, good save from Janssen. Just pushed away and then cleared away by Orebro, but good pressure again here from Hafnarfjordur.
Well, I'm not quite sure what Wikström was doing. The number 4, he could have intercepted the ball to start with, and he allowed Ingersson to get in behind him, but a great double save from the goalkeeper. Just didn't take the chance well enough, Ingersson. Just needed to move it slightly, or needed to move the goalkeeper to one side so he could then play it in the other corner. He went too straight at the goalkeeper.
Kamara away from one tackle. Play waved on here by the referee. Felt the advantage there was with Orebro. Still 2-1 since half-time. In blue here, Hafnarfjordur looking much, much brighter. Björnqvist. Now the lively, the busy, the impressive Saeed. As I say, 7 years on West Brom's books in their academy. Didn't play a first-team game for the Baggies. Tillen. Keely. Hassani. Björnqvist. Can Orebro respond here to the much improved Hafnarfjordur? Gustafsson. Ahmed Yasin. Scored once so far, now looks to involve Björnqvist here. Björnqvist holds off one and fouls that one in holding him off. Free kick for Hafnarfjordur.
Well, having run about 60 yards, he needed a better pass from Yasin. Yasin played it too close to the fullback, Tillen. It was a good switch of play to start with. They did create a 2v1 against Tillen, they just didn't make the most of the situation.
Here's Hewson, former youth captain of Manchester United. Now at the pace of Ingersson here, and Ingersson with a shot which draws the best again from Oscar Janssen. Busy goalkeeper second half.
Well, there, real lack of pace from Moberg and decent pace from Ingersson. This time he tries to go across the goalkeeper, but Janssen making 3 good saves in this second half already. You see, that's a real problem in the heart of the Orebro defence. We've already seen that Wikström's not particularly quick. Now we know that Moberg can't run.
Corner ball then for Hafnarfjordur. Since half-time, much better. Driven corner this time, again towards the near post, headed away. With no damage done to Orebro here by Van Heerden. Tillen throws in. And again here's Sam Tillen. Didn't score last season. Decent turn by Gudnason. That's blocked. In goes Hewson, studs up, and the referee will call a free kick here for the high studs from Sam Hewson. And here comes that substitution window. Number 25 here is Hólmar Runarsson, who is a midfield player. He comes on for Sam Hewson. So Hólmar Runarsson is on. Signed 4 years ago from Silkeborg in Denmark. Had a spell too with Keflavik in Iceland. Capped at under 21 level for the Icelandic national team, but hasn't played a full international yet.
He's going to slot straight into that midfield area, exactly the same position that Hewson was playing.
Here's Yasin. Yasin's cross, a good one too, couldn't quite find Hassani. It's going to be retrieved here though by Van Heerden. Good looking cross too towards Kamara.
What a cross it was from the fullback on that far side.
Björnqvist tries his luck with the ball in. And then Kamara has it coming together with the centre-back. It's going to be a free kick the way of Hafnarfjordur.
Well, it looked as though Kamara had a chance when that cross came in from the left-hand side. Van Heerden brilliantly whipped it in. I think that Hassani may have just run across his line just at the last minute. That's why he didn't get the clean header in.
And here's the foul by Kamara on David Vidarsson. He's a well-built lad, is Al-Hassan Kamara. As I say, a couple of goals, sorry Stuart.
I think he's been on the same protein shakes that you've been on.
Oh, well, you know, what's the word? Hench, isn't it, these days? That's Runarsson. Protein shakes, it's all gym work this, Stuart. Through ball here now for Ingersson, and again, that's well read by Janssen, who's had a really active second half so far. The goalkeeper really, again here down bravely to make the save.
Good save, but again it's a nice run from Ingersson in behind the centre half. Moberg, he was looking at the linesman or assistant referee for an offside decision, but certainly if Ingersson keeps running in behind these two centre halves, there's problems for them.
Wikström. Towards Kamara. As Stuart said, Runarsson has gone in there into that midfield area to replace Hewson like for like.
He's playing alongside Vidarsson in that midfield area. Two holding players. Carlson on one side of them, Snorrason on the other. And they have swapped positions throughout No chances that time.
That's Hewson, or rather Tillen. Reynolds, now Runarsson. Blocked by Saeed. Runarsson will try again. Does well this time to find Olafur Snorrason. Snorrason against Björnqvist here.
Just hasn't got the pace, Snorrason. Little trick, he had the chance to get his cross in, he took too long, and in the end, the fullback, Björnqvist, got back and got the challenge in.
That's a play here for a throw for Hafnarfjordur. Snorrason, as I say, he had 3 years on Bolton's books between '98 and 2001. Didn't play a first-team game at the Reebok. Won one cap against Liechtenstein 4 years ago. Finished 3 points. Finished 3 points behind the eventual champions KR Reykjavik in the Icelandic League last season. The Orvaldsdelt, which begins again in May. 6 times in the last 10 years Hafnarfjordur have been the champions of Iceland. Fairly abortive campaigns in Europe, though. They only ever got to the second round of European competition, the knockout for the qualification stages.
Silly shove in the back from Runarsson.
Björnqvist couldn't find Ahmed Yassin. It's cleared away here by Hafnarfjordur. Snorrason. Now Peter Vidarsson. Only one change apiece. Surprised there have been so few changes so far.
Yeah. We thought at half-time there may be a few.
We braced ourselves.
Yes, but the game has been better for not making too many substitutions. These pre-season friendlies can be sport when the whole team gets changed. It lacks the pattern of play. There's no fluency. It's been a good game so far for 65 minutes.
Mulberg back to the goalkeeper.
We've seen the strength and weaknesses of both sides. We've now seen that the centre-halves for Orebro can't run. A chance for Ingersson and Goodnesson to run in behind them.
Runarsson. Now Sean Reynolds for Hafnarfjordur. 5 here is Peter Vidarsson. Runarsson. Another change coming here for Hafnarfjordur. That looks like Einar Ingvarsson, who's a midfielder.
They can't get out their half at the moment. Orebro.
This is Antoniusson. Now Ingersson. Antoniusson here with space and tees up Runarsson and blocked away by Wikström here for a corner ball again for a much more attack-minded Hafnarfjordur in the second half. They have a corner.
Yeah, didn't catch hold of it in the end, the final shot. Again, good play down that right-hand side. Antoniusson, good awareness of where the next player was. But Runarsson, I mean, only just come on, didn't make decent contact with that.
And the goal came from a corner. That's just their 3rd corner of the entire match. This one's going to be whipped in by Sam Tillen. Tillen takes towards Reynolds. It's glanced away. Here's Kamara retrieving for Orebro. But given away. Antoniusson. Now Snorrason. That's loose. Asani can't escape. Snorrason. Now Goodnesson caught here, free kick. Hafnarfjordur, good area, good position this for them too against Ayander and Keeley.
Yeah, and Keeley just trying to make the challenge, getting back in there. I think he gets a bit of the ball and then his feet get tangled up inside the legs of Gudnason.
Double change for Hafnarfjordur. Coming off is Gudjon Antoniusson, replaced here by Jon Jonsson. And also coming on is Einar Ingvarsson as well.
Att rädda världen kräver...
Right, from the substitute.
Yeah, it was never coming down in time, was it? Good strike from him though. Hit with power.
So still 2-1 here for the Swedes. It's been that way since half-time. This is Magnus Wikström for Orebro. That's Moberg, Wikström. Miscontrol there really from Björnqvist.
Yeah, it was a good play up until that point. Centre halves, square ball. Wide player had gone infield to allow the fullback Björnqvist to come forward, and he just miscontrolled it.
Here's Yasin, scored the game's best goal, the first goal. And Kili. Hassani. And now Ahmed Yasin again will try and stretch the legs here of Tillen. And Yasin's done well to get the cross in too. And the head has been missed at the far post by Jönsson. Van Heerden delivers towards Kamara. Away by Reynolds.
Good play from Yasin. Haven't seen too much of him in this second half. Scored that good goal in the first half. That was the best we've seen of him in the second period. Racing down the right-hand side. Whipped his cross in with a bit of pace.
Runarsson. 11 here is Atle Gudnason. Couldn't quite return the ball there to Runarsson, and it's back with Orebro, who look to find Kamara.
I'm not sure his movement's been particularly good, Kamara. Difficult for the back players to find him. He reacts rather than anticipates. Big centre forward.
Björnqvist.
See, there was a ball he could have come short and got it in front of.
Runarsson. Blocked away here by Björnqvist. Orebro is the 6th biggest city in Sweden, in south-central Sweden. This now is Gudnason. There's a free kick here now for, again, Hafnarfjordur. Again, it's in that area from which the last one came, which was wasted rather by Runarsson. Another chance here to maybe make amends.
Well, he just puts his arms on the attacker. Wikström.
For more changes, Anton Westerlund, 99, is a young centre-half coming on. Gustafsson will make way. Yasin off. So changes being rung here by both coaches in the second half. Yasin, who got the first goal, will play no further part in this game in Faro. Yeah, that free kick award.
It was his goal. What a good one it was as well. Hit with power. Hit early as well. One touch and got his strike away.
Now Tillen. Tillen long looks to find Paulsen. Said. Now Erik Moberg for Orebro. Number 2, Patrick Håging was the player who came wearing number 2, and the new Ghanaian arrival Samuel Mensah replaced Gustafsson. Mensah, who's just joined from Östersunds in the Swedish second division. He was their player of the year last year, uncapped by Ghana. Had brief youth stints at the academies in England of Everton, Newcastle and also Fulham. And Patrick Håging, who's come on, is a defender who is in his second spell with the club, signed from Gordon a couple of years ago for his second stint.
Well, Mensah's going to play out on the left-hand side. There's a left winger.
Here he is. Mensah. David Vidarsson. Wikström. Here's Håging. Håging. That's a neat turn by Hassan. He's being manhandled too. Wrestled to the ground. There's going to be a free kick here. Foul by Peter Vidarsson. Fairly uncompromising stuff.
It certainly was. He's got on the wrong side of his man, Hassani. Hassani was trying to get away. Referee saying, don't take the law into your own hands. It's a miscontrol to start with. Then he's being grabbed. Oh. Had it been a league game,
yellow card,
certainly would have been a yellow card. Probably in the end for both of them. For the foul to start with and then the reaction. He's refereed it well.
Yeah, he's been aware of what the game is, hasn't he? It's a friendly and no need to overplay things. Free kick, which Van Heerden is on here, the player on trial at the moment from South Africa. Decent game he's had too so far, Van Heerden. Can he ice his debut with a free kick goal? Van Heerden takes it. Too high.
Well, it's too high. Didn't have enough power. It's a poor effort from him in the end. Shake of the head. Way over the bar.
So final 14 minutes. Still 2-1 for Orebro. His first game for the two teams in the Atlantic Cup. Tillen. Now David Vidarsson. Peter Vidarsson. 18 here is Ingvarsson. Paulsen. Good control. Ahead Tillen has gone on. Paulsen crosses towards the far post, but too long and too high. He did have Goodness arriving.
Great crossfield ball. They created the 2v1 against the fullback. We'll see more substitutions now.
Yes, 21 there is Bodvar Bodvarsson. He comes on to replace Peter Vidarsson. Bodvarsson, only 18, league debut came last season. One brief appearance from the bench in the Icelandic League last campaign for him. In a win away to Keflavik. Atli Björnsson on here, the veteran. Man who scored in their UEFA Cup game at Villa Park 6 years ago. Joint top scorer in the Icelandic League last season with 13 league goals. Hogging away here for Orebro up to Björnqvist. Hogging throws in. Paulsen wouldn't run for Runarsson, and now here comes Saeed. Now he's looked to release the pace of Björnqvist. Goalkeeper comes off limits and does okay in the end there. Oskarsson had to too, had he not? Real chance there for 3-1.
Yeah, it's clever that he didn't try and kick through the ball because it would have come off the rampaging fullback. So he just went to the side of him.
Hogging for Nkili. Goodnasson.
Saeed pressing the ball again. He's been excellent, Saeed.
Hasn't he just? Jonsson on the chase here. As changes confirmed, Atli Björnsson, as I say, the veteran, 34 now, the striker. 13 league goals last campaign. Another change here, it's Hassani coming off for Orebro.
He looks a good centre forward. In the second half, he's played slightly off of Camera. But in the first half he led the line, scored a good penalty, but he made it himself as well. Here is his penalty. It was the run and the ability to take on the defender that created that opportunity for him.
And the player who's come on is 17-year-old Krista Lipovats. You may recall on Eurosport from the Under-17 World Cup, where he helped Sweden to the bronze medal last year in the UAE. A couple of games in that tournament for him from the bench early on. Didn't play in the semi-final against Argentina. So 10 to play. So last 10 minutes. It's Orebro leading by 2-1. And the throw here by Mark van Heerden. Ever had a game on trial?
No. I have to say I've never had a trial. That's where the only trial game you have is when you go and play for the under-21s. England and youth team games, you're trying, I suppose, to get into the next level.
Yep.
Some would say every game's a trial.
Yeah, I had a trial once. Playing in goal, came out, hit my own centre-half and knocked myself out.
Just looking at your stature, I think there's one thing wrong with you trying to be a goalkeeper.
What's that, go on?
5'3".
5'3". 5'4" in heels. 10 to play. 2-1 to Orebro. Getting cheeky these days, Stuart. I was a decent goalkeeper in my day, but that day was a long time ago. Here's Kamara. And now Mensah with a change of pace and change of rhythm. Mensah pulls back, and the shot over the bar. Again, Said involved. He's had a really good game, hasn't he, the midfielder?
Well, he looks like he's got most of the things needed to be a really good midfield player. He's been tenacious in the tackle. He's closed the ball down well. He's had a good understanding as the holding midfield player, when to drop in behind his centre-backs and drop in behind his full-backs. When he's had the ball, he's created 1 or 2 opportunities. His passing's been good. He's got good energy.
23 years old. 4 goals and 24 in the league last season in the Swedish second division, the Superettan. There's always been a nearly club of Orebro, those 2 runners-up spots and a cup final reached and lost in the 80s as well. Have a good support. And here with good pace is Kamara. Decent cross for Mensah! Great finish, great goal. That will surely be 3 points for Orebro.
Well, we talked about Camera and his pace and power, and I asked whether he had the quality to pick out a pass or make the right decision. On that occasion, he gets out wide, he makes the right run, and then he makes a good decision and has the technical ability to find Mensah in the box. But nothing away from Mensah. He's still got a lot to do here. On the volley, goalkeeper in a good position, and he just side foots it past him. Really good technique. That's the perfect finish. Good play from the substitute, and a good bit of play from the centre forward who came on at half-time.
It's the Ghanaians' first goal in Orebro colours. Player they signed this coming season. From Östersunds, he was their player of the season last year in the second division. Here's Keely now for Orebro. What Hafnarferdor have left in the tank. Maybe harsh on Hafnarferdor. Since half-time they've been the better team, haven't they? But haven't taken the chances, and Orebro have. Here's Mensah again. His goal makes it 3-1. We have to play 6.5 minutes. Here's Björnqvist. And now it's Kamara. There's no flag here. Kamara's finish not quite hits the crossbar. Penalty given here again. Clumsy from Reynolds on Lipovats.
Well, it's all action in his last 2 or 3 minutes. Once again, it was I thought he may have just been offside when the ball was played. Camera. But he does everything right. Only a fraction too high. And there's the challenge from Reynolds. It didn't look to be that strong a challenge. But referee deciding strong enough to be awarded a penalty to Orebro.
So Al-Hassan Kamara, 6 in 12 on loan from AIK last season. Now he's signed there full-time. From the spots for 4-1. Kamara, another really composed and full of belief penalty. It's 4-1 for Orebro as they stretch their lead now to 3 goals with, 5 to play.
And it should be all over now. Not good viewing for that man. Not so bad for him. Here is the penalty. Well, looks a soft one. A decent strike in the end from Kamara.
Goal difference could prove key in the final standings. Most points, then it could be most goal difference too. That's David Vidarsson, so 4-1 for Orebro. And the strong second half start from Hafnarferdor is for now going to waste.
You have to say that it's what can happen when you start to make lots of changes in the second half. You lose the flow of the game. Players have to come on and adjust to the pace of it quickly. Players playing out of position at times. So
Corner one here.
Slightly flatters Orebro.
So Kamara's goal. Short corner here for Palsson in by Runarsson. Hogging away. And then Unkili further clear. Runarsson. Good control support here from Palsson. He can't be found there by the pass, and it's covered by Björnqvist.
Not sure why he wanted to turn away and go backwards there. Runarsson.
Tillen. Jonsson. Now Gudnason up to Jon Jonsson again. 4-1 the score. Final 4 minutes.
Good, Mark. Excellent, Mark. Well done.
Any players caught the eye?
Well, I thought Asani played well in the first half. He looked to be a real threat in behind. Then he had to play a little bit deeper. Certainly he was outstanding.
Att rädda världen.
He looked a much better player. But I think Orebro have got the better individuals on what we've seen here today.
Hogging's mistake here. Atli Björnsson across. Mensah tries to break. Yes, Mensah as a young lad had a spell in England with Everton and a couple of other clubs. Didn't have the work permit to stay, so had to move away back to Ghana, and then he got the move to Sweden some 4 years ago. Real globetrotter. Here's Tillen. Lipovats with a heavy challenge. Free kick here for Hafnarfjordor.
Yeah, chance for them to get the ball in the box. Just a little bit late with the challenge. It's going to be an outswinger from Tillen, whose deliveries haven't been that good. A decent left foot. Will hit the man.
Set play late in the first half here. A set play late in the second. It's a deep one. Oscar Janssen takes.
It's too easy for the goalkeeper, isn't it, Jan? Haven't been that good. A decent left foot. Will hit the man. Excellent saves just after half-time when it looked as though
The shot.
Victorson is the player that's just come on.
Yes, Victorson is a centre-half. former under-19 international. Björnqvist. 3 additional minutes. In goes the cross. Jonsson. Gudnason. And there's going to be a free kick edge of the box here. Free kick for Hafnarferdor against...
I think he's done well as a trialist. Van Heerden, he got some of the ball there. This ball in with a bit of pace.
It's Einar on this free kick. An Iceland under-21 international, though his only cap came 18 months ago. He's only 20 now. Takes the Runarsson, now Bodvarsson. Gudnason with a ball in, but again to Oscar Jansson, who's had a good game, the goalkeeper. Throw in here for Orebro, who are going to win the game. This game is in 3 days. Hafnarfjordor on paper. Side ball forward. It's the game's last action. A good game comes to a close.